Peace, beloved God. I want to share something with you all today. I want to talk to you about how I broke the codes. How I get to live every possibility. I want to share with you how simple this process really is, because it's not something that you have to go and search the world for in order to attain it. You see, when I say I broke the code, how I get to live every possibility, that means that I don't have to go and search. It's about a knowing. It's about knowing that whatever it is I want is already done. It's about knowing that whoever I want, I already have. It's about knowing that whatever it is I want to accumulate in my life, I already have it. And so when you realize who you are, what you are, where you are going, your divine purpose in this life, then you have broken the code. And when you have broken the code, there will never ever be any confusion. There will never ever be any explanation to what it is that you do, or to where it is that you go, or to why it is that you do it. People will already know why, because when you come into the present field of another being, you have inserted your spirit into the atmosphere, into the fields of energy, to where that everything in and around you becomes you. That when you step into the field of trees, let's just speak hypothetically, that the trees around you become you and you become it. But I want to emphasize on the trees around you become you, because when your presence, when you recognize and when you realize that you are God, your presence is felt even by the trees. And this is why you hear the scripture where it said that if you do not praise me, there's a scripture that says, if you do not praise me, the rocks and the trees will cry out and praise me. And this is what it means to break the code. That when you get on the same frequency level where you speak, and not only speak, but you be the language of the trees, and you be the language of water. So when you are in presence of water, you are felt like water. People feel you like a cool, fresh drink of water, or a cool, fresh wave that comes over them. That your energy, your presence overtakes another being like a wave that washes over a person surfing a wave. That's how people begin to feel you. And you do this because when you have broken the code, what you end up doing is you become really speaking and being one with everything that is, one with everything that is and present at the moment you're there with it. And so the trees don't have to acknowledge who you are. They already know. Why? Because once you get into the field of energy of those trees, guess what? They become you, to the point where they give you the fruit and nourishment that you desire from it. And so this is why you see the scripture where Jesus came to the fig tree, and the fig tree was found with no figs on it. And what did he do? He cursed the tree. And he said that the tree withered away the very same day. You understand? Because a tree is known by its fruits. And when you break the codes, you've broken all kinds of curses. You've broken all kinds of streams of ideology on your mind. You've broken all kinds of streams of religious beliefs on your mind, that you have come into the knowledge of full self. Now, the thing is this, let me repeat this, that when you have broken the code, there is no explanation to who you are, and there is no explanation to where you go, and there is no explanation to why you do what you do. There's a knowing, and the knowing is the inner guide that is within you. As I spoke in my proverb of today, I said that those who lead are led themselves. Those who guide them already know. Those who lead are led themselves, but they who guide, they know. And so the guide does not need to have any recollection of where he's going. The guide doesn't need to have any recollection or any reference or point of reference of what he does. A guide doesn't need to have a point of reference of where he belongs, because in his spirit, in his inner guidance, there's a knowing of where he is, where he belongs, and where he's going. And so when you break the code, not everybody can break the code, because see, emotion sets in, fear sets in, and these things get in the way of our belief, our believing. These things get in the way of our believing. Emotion sets in, fear sets in. And so as I explained to a couple people before already in the past, that when you are feeling the emotions, You must be like a person standing in a pool, and you have to submerge yourself beneath the water and look up at the pool. Look up at the pool. So that way, when you're looking up at the surface from beneath the water, you can see how detached you are from the present state, the conscious knowing. You are detached from the conscious knowing. And see, you have to go into the conscious unknowing. Oh, that's such a beautiful thing. Let me explain what that is. You have to put yourself in the position where you go into the conscious unknowing. And what is the conscious unknowing? It is the conscious unknowing is actually the knowing. It is the knowing that I don't need no explanation. I don't have an explanation for it, but I know. I don't have an explanation for where, but I'm going. I don't have an explanation for why, but I'm doing. You see, the conscious unknowing is you don't have to know and to know that you know. You don't have to know that you know. You don't have to know where you're going, but you know that you're getting somewhere when you get there. You don't have to know what it is you do, but you know that you're doing something worth meaning, worthwhile, and has purpose to it. You don't have to know where you are headed in order to know that when you get there, all of the things that are there that you need will be there when you get there. It is already provided. And this is breaking the code. It is knowing without fault. It is knowing without fear. It is knowing without faltering and wavering on your status and belief of who you are. And so a lot of people struggle with this being. A lot of people struggle with this knowing. A lot of people struggle with this idea of letting go and simply going and being in the unknowing. Being in the unknowing. You see, I get to live every possibility because the dreams that I want to fulfill, and I don't like to necessarily call these things dreams, but when I live in the field and when I get to live every possibility, what that means is that in those possibilities there are opportunities, and in those possibilities, although there are opportunities, there are going to be stumbling blocks. But you know something, I always keep my eyes focused on the opportunities rather than the stumbling blocks, and so I never meet the stumbling blocks. And when I do, I still see the opportunity in the stumbling block. I see the opportunity in the falling down. When I get up, I'm like, yo, this is another opportunity for me to grow, or for me to learn, or for me to take the lesson from it. And then I expand. You see, once I fall from the stumbling block, I look at it and say, there's a lesson here, and I get the lesson, and that expands my knowledge and my awareness and my knowing for the next time I go on another trip or another journey or another place. I don't have to be afraid. I don't have to be in fear. I don't have to be worried. But everything is already taken care of because every possibility has been provided for me. The way has been provided. The way has been shown. It is in the conscious unknowing. You see, when you get beneath the surface of the water, when you're standing in that pool and you got to go beneath the surface of the water, and you look up at the surface of the water while you're beneath the surface, you can see that how detached you are from the conscious knowing. Oh, these are my feelings. These are my emotions. These are what I'm feeling. You know, the surface is our emotions. The surface is our fears. The surface is our intellect, our thinking, our thoughts. This is the surface. But once you get beneath the surface, you can see how you are not attached to those things, and therefore you can swim while you are underneath the surface. You can swim to another location and resurface and come above the water in a different field, a stream of thinking. And you can resurface. And once you resurface, my beloved, divine beloved, once you resurface in a whole nother field of believing, another field of, and you become somewhat disoriented, but in a good way. Because you know that you did that on purpose. You know that you came up to the surface, another part of the surface on purpose. And that's what we need to do. We need to go beneath the water so that we can see how we are detached from our emotions, detached from our thinking, detached from our feelings. And then we swim while we're underwater. We swim downstream and resurface under another part of the water so that we may enter into a new field of believing, a new field of thought, a clear mind. A clear-minded thought, and therefore there is no fears there unless you interject them in it. There is no fears there, and there is no thought there. There is no conscious knowing of what may happen, what could happen, unless you inject them in the field. Unless you inject them in the field. When you swim underwater only to resurface in a new part of the water. When you come up, You are coming up in a new field, in a new stream of thought and energy, clear-mindedness. You are coming up in a new field of clear-mindedness. And the only time that fear comes into play, the only time that emotions comes into play, feeling and thoughts come into play, is because you injected it into the environment. You took a syringe needle and you pumped it full of fear, doubt, worry, stress, anxiety. And that's not living every possibility. You live every possibility when you don't live in the surface, above the surface of those things. But you live every possibility. You live every possibility when you see how you can get detached from these things, swim downstream, resurface at another part, and you can emerge a whole new being with a whole new mind, whole new thoughts, whole new energy, whole new stream of thinking. Everything. You can resurface a new being. And this is the beautiful part of who you can become. This is breaking the code. It's knowing that, yes, the possibilities are there, the stumbling blocks are there, but you see the opportunity inside the stumbling blocks. And the only time you're going to be able to break this code is if you see your stumbling blocks and you do not even mind them. You don't mind them. You're like, I see my stumbling blocks, but I'm still going to go down that road. Just because this is the path that I'm taking and I see the stumbling blocks, but guess what? I'm still going to take the road. I'm not going to try and find an easier course because that's not my journey. That's not my course. My course is right here. And I see a few stumbling blocks on the path, but I am not going to run from the path. I'm still going, because why? Because I know at every stumbling block I'm going to meet an opportunity. And you see, this is living every possibility. Because that's a possibility. There's a possibility in the stumbling block. You're like, there's a possibility I get something out of this falling down. And you will. And you will. You will get something out of the falling down. And that's what happens with me. I know there is going to be some opportunity, some possibility. There's a possibility I'm going to be getting something out of this falling down. And you do. This is the beauty of breaking the code. Okay? Get yourself and get your mind somewhere focused, so that you do not live in fear like this, and you do not live in treacherous agony, because you cannot figure out life on your own terms. You need to be guided. You don't need to be led. You need to be guided to your inner God. You understand? And then you will know that there is no fear wherever you go. There is no worry, no stress, no doubt. You understand? And this is another thing that must be acknowledged before I give you the end here. Is that once you resurface, and I must say this, once you resurface, beloved divine God beings, once you resurface and you know that, hey, I can detach from those thoughts, feelings, and emotions, and you can submerge yourself and go and resurface again, guess what? You now know that you can do it again, and you can do it again, and you can do it again. There's never no, oh my God, I failed. No, there is no failing. Get yourself back underneath that water, swim down another part of the stream, and pop up and resurface again in another part. And come into clear thinking, clear mind, where there is no fear and no stress and no anxiety, no emotions inside that field of energy, of that field in that stream of the new space when you resurface. And if you hit the stumbling block and you fall, you don't fail when you fall. You just say, oh, let me get up under that. Let me get back underneath this. Let me look at that, detach myself, and let me swim downstream underneath the water, and let me go resurface somewhere else. And you can pop up with it. You can continuously do it till you get it right. And that's when you get it right. When you get it right, you'll know when you get it right. You get it right when you know that you can continuously do that and not be afraid to keep doing it. That's when you break the code. You break the code when you know that you can continuously keep resurfacing. You can continuously submerge yourself only to resurface in a new field. You can submerge yourself only to resurface in a new field. You can submerge yourself only to resurface in a new field. When you know, when you're not afraid to continue to do that, then there you have broken the code. This is your Lord Obeng, and I say I love you, I love me, and I love us. I am.